Here we show you the ruins of the Woosung Forts after their tremendous battering from Japanese warships. These fortifications, at a commanding point on the banks of the Wangpu River, were the special target of the Mikado's fleet, but their ancient guns were no adequate adversary for the armaments of the world's third largest navy. After the reduction of the forts, liners may now pass upstream to Shanghai, unmolested from the shore. The Japanese are now in possession of the forts, after a long resistance by the Chinese defenders, of which the destruction bears full witness. In Woosung village, hard by the forts, the devastation is even more complete. A few Chinese are still to be found among the ruins, but not a home is left intact, while the Japanese soldiers must look elsewhere for their billets. And here is General Tsai Ting-kai, commander of the Chinese 19th Army, which opposed the Japanese advance on Shanghai. His men, trained to march in the German goose-step style, proved to be the backbone of the Chinese forces and held on to their positions for a month before retiring. These pictures show you some of General Tsai's men digging trenches along the line of the railway from the North Station in Shapei through Kingwan to the Woosung Forts. After several general attacks by the Japanese infantry, backed by strong artillery, had failed, the 19th Army fell back from the crude defenses to a new line 10 miles to the west, where it is now entrenched. This involved the evacuation of the southern part of their old line through Shapei, and when the Japanese followed up the retirement, they destroyed all means of communication between Shapei and the new Chinese lines. All Chinese left behind in this quarter were forced to undergo a rigorous search, the Japanese having had some experience of snipers attired in mufti. Possessions of arms was taken as conclusive evidence of guilt, and the punishment was certain death.
The position or policy of Japan vis-à-vis the present unfortunate incident in Shanghai is clear-cut and definite. It is nothing more or less than to protect her own nationals and their vast interests and perform part in safeguarding the international settlement in cooperation with other countries.